So I've been thinking up this idea for a product, and it's like it's like a really soft leather bag that's like, what are those things that we used to carry around that were
fanny pack.
like a fanny pack?
Yeah.
But I want to call it a muffik.
A papoose?
I want to call it the muffik because you stuff it in your muffik. Like that's their phrase. You're gonna stuff it in your muffik. And if you have asthma, you can have a puffer, and you can stuff your puffer in your muffik.
Can you
Think of other things that you can stuff in your muffik.
Why?
I like the at the end.
Think of what you could stuff in your muffik. What do you think?
If you like the at the end, I want to say I like the muff at the beginning, but that is also another word for genitalia.
Truth.
I'm not naming it that
Why are you naming it what you're naming it?
because I like the and I like the and it goes
So
well
it's,
together.
it's literally just a name that means nothing?
Yeah. Why? You
I
can't,
thought-
does it have to mean?
I thought maybe
I
because
thought there
it
was something funny. This is the soft open. I thought it was going to be something funny.
Oh, stuff it in your muff.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dane Holland, and the power is mine.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and it takes patience to be me.
I'm Marcus Whitaker. I love New York, and I am Electric Man.
I'm Austin Tiny Zent, and I am Acoustic Man.
And this is Nerd It Through the Grapevine, a podcast where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture.
Show is.
If
Show enough, bacon.
Really, my topic, I don't know. It's one of those things that, we've had enough time to, as a culture, to talk about at least halfway honestly. Like, we all know that reality TV is fake, right? I mean,
What?
yes.
Oh,
It's fake.
Here we go.
And
all of it.
Yeah, but like I said, people have talked about this, so I'm not like presenting this as like some new finding or anything. It's just that I just think it is an interesting thing. I mean, The Bachelor's literally on, like, sometimes when we hang out.
in the other room right
yeah,
now.
Yes,
exactly.
it happens.
But I don't know. It's just a fascinating thing that draws us monkeys to the TV. And I feel like some people do kind of treat it on. I mean, and like I said, I'm not trying to be judgmental either. I love New York. I love those old VH1 like dating reality shows sometimes, just trashiest TV you can possibly imagine. And but there is some, I mean, I'm not saying it's all fake either. But yeah, I've really just trashed my intro because I actually had notes to like actually develop the topic a little bit better than that. But anyway, so reality shows kind of start around 92 with The Real World. And then they become, which was actually inspired by American Family, which was from the 70s. It's like credited as like the first reality show because they've went back now and like redefined some old shows before like the reality phase of TV.
Yeah, they've recategorized
Like
them,
Cops.
kinda?
Like Cops is a reality show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Cops is...
But it was never called a reality show until like the reality renaissance of the like 2000s when Survivor and big shows like that, Big Brother and all that. What were you about to say?
Cops is not reality. It is actuality.
Okay, what's the difference?
That's what they say on the channel that Cops comes on. I don't know.
I didn't know that. It's been so long since I've seen an episode of Cops.
And all suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Absolutely. And they're going to show Cops. Yeah. They're even going to play bad boys in the courtroom when they show the footage that they got of this person.
When the chef
He's done. But no, I don't know. It's just like I just kind of was cruising the internet one day, and you know how you just see these weird things on the internet all the time. And it was like details of these people's contracts that they signed to be a part of these shows. And so, I don't know. I kind of was just wanting to discuss, what is this like a symptom of our culture, or is it because of that? You know what it's
Yeah.
I can't put it
was
into words what I'm trying to say.
Did
I'm
we
so sorry
build-
to all of you listeners who
No.
heard me try to think
I know
that
what
out
you're
loud.
saying. You're asking.
Well, then say it for me,
Was the
please.
machine of reality television built for the viewer, or did the viewer build the reality TV machine?
Okay. Right. Well, there was this study done, and it found that people who scored higher on narcissistic
Smack that mouth, boy.
narcissistic
Yeah,
questionnaire. So basically, the question was: are these kinds of shows, and the ones I mean are like the really like ones that really you can tell are fake and that don't really reflect reality, but
Yes.
yet people are so invested in them to the point where it could possibly maybe influence their personality.
I
You know?
watched every episode of The Surreal Life. I watched every episode of Flavor of Love.
See, those are the ones I'm talking about. The
Rock
VH1
of-
ones.
Rock
Rock
of
of Love.
Rock
Flavor?
of Love.
Yes.
Daisy of Love. But
Yeah.
I met her in real life.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
I sang karaoke with her boyfriend off the show.
Who is this?
Daisy off of Daisy of Love.
I don't know what that
and
is.
I think her
Okay.
boyfriend's name was like Syndicate or something stupid like that.
So back, I think
Was he
it
a rapper?
called-
No.
did you say the Surreal Life?
Yes.
Is
with
that
a
what that one was called when they was like these washed up celebrities
Yes.
all go live in a house together?
Yes.
And that's where Flava Flav and what's her name?
Bridget Nielsen.
fell in love on TV.
Look, his government name is Flavor.
That's Pizza. That's the Little Caesar's cousin. Flavor is the Little Caesar's cousin.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
But yeah, and so from there, VH1 sees Flavor Flav and he's like, let's make a dating show for him.
Well, he's like a cartoon character in real life. Like
Right.
he's so much, and that's kind of been his thing. Like ever
Right.
since ever was a giant clock necklace. Like that's something you'd see in a cartoon. Like you don't see that in real life.
Yeah.
So he's like this fake character, but he's real. And I think for me, the reality TV show stuff is people want to relate to what they're watching sometimes. Like we get so caught up in the fantastical stuff that we watch that I think a lot of, I want to stay in that world. I want to escape this reality as much as humanly possible. So if you can distance me from that, I'm going to enjoy it more. But a lot of people want that, like that snap back to semi-reality. Like you said, I mean,
Right.
it's fake and you know it's fake.
Well, how do you explain shows like Hoarders then?
That's docuseries.
Well, and
it's
that-
still reality
right.
TV, though.
Yes, but it's
and
labeled
some of
as-
those are like literally like there's like these house buying shows, but they've already bought a house. Like they're presenting it on TV as, oh, we're going to go and survey these properties and get these genuine reactions from these people on which house they want. But what they don't show us is that these people have already bought their house,
yeah.
and so they
Well, it's like reenactment.
kind of yeah.
Yeah.
So
So they take them through and
But if you had
back to the
ever
house they look
watched
at.
Flavor Flav's reality television shows, you would understand just how far from reality it actually was. I mean, at one point, and I loved it so much that I hate myself.
how did he choose them? Did he lay a clock around their neck?
Yeah,
I think he did.
yeah.
Though, wasn't there this one on there called, wasn't her name Pumpkin or something like that? Does any,
Yeah.
and her in New York got into
She
a
was
fight.
psycho.
Yeah, she
because-
spit on her.
Yes, Pumpkin spit on New York, and New York.
And New
went
York
after
is like
her.
a meme now. Like
Yes.
she's like she's I guess kind of famous.
Well, she's made it.
Mostly for being a meme.
Was this your plan? Was for us to talk about Flavor Flav? For
No, but I mean,
Because-
I don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
there was kind of some sort of angle I had, but I never could quite formulate it.
Yeah.
But whatever, I'm rolling with it anyway. But I did write down some of these weird clauses that some of these people have to sign, like to be on these kinds of shows, and I thought were interesting. There's one called hold period. So basically, they have to sign their rights to work basically in the industry from the time they start filming till a year after the last episode that they filmed airs. And so like you can't make appearances, you can't appear on other shows without like the producer of that show that you just filmed and a whole year after that approves it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they couldn't go to a con and like set up a table or anything
Yeah.
without the approval of the producer.
I wonder if a part of that has to do with how many, like how much gambling is involved with shows like this, because people put a lot of money down, like they maybe even like Vegas bets. I don't know if there are
Really,
but a lot of people will like throw into these pools, like who they think's gonna win, The Bachelor or
Survivor,
and all these other shows. And
How deep are they?
who?
The pools.
There's no diving.
It's like, this is
I'll
right
tell
up
you-
my alley.
I'll tell you that right now. No diving. But yeah, I think that's probably part of it, because there's just a lot of money floating around. And if one of the members of the show goes out and before it even airs or while it's currently airing, like says something about it, like that's going to screw up a lot of stuff involved with some money on it. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
I really don't
they
know.
have to sign.
There are people that do come
NDAs.
out and say, yeah, well, but then it should expire after a time, shouldn't it?
Yes, but it's most likely going to be within the time frame while that season's happening. Like their NDA expires after X amount. Because they've got people coming forward now talking about the shows that they've been on, talking about how it has, and I'm glad that you've brought this up, because this has been a topic of discussion with my wife here recently. They had people come forward talking about how producers will stage these interactions with different characters on the show, people,
In stressful situations.
but their character, pretty much. Because, like, say they get this private talk and this private chat in the hallway, the producers are telling them what to talk about in that situation, and their payment for doing so is airtime.
yeah.
Isn't that kind of like the producers having their own conversation with extra steps?
In a way, it's like they're scripting it, but only for those that'll voluntarily do so.
Right. And it's like,
Unless it's not voluntary, I don't know how. Like, if they walk up to you and say, "Hey, if you want to stay on the show," because they decide a lot of times who's doing the rose ceremonies. Like they're the ones who are picking, and they remember the names during all of this in these giant rooms full of people, because it'll take 5 to 6 hours for a rose ceremony to be filmed, and they'll be doing it 3 people at a time so they can rehearse the names.
yeah, I mean, there's all kind of, like, it is literally in a lot of cases scripted drama in a sense, but just with normal people. Some of the most crazy ones are like life story rights. Like some of these people have to sign away their life story in a sense. So it's like, okay, here I'm a producer, you're signing this, basically gives them rights, exclusive rights to your life story. If they wanted to make a movie, a video game, a comic book, anything, if they just thought you were an interesting person, they could make all that without having to pay you a dime.
What?
I will look up my old voice disclosures that they had sent me.
Yeah,
And
that'd be really cool.
Those are extreme like that too. And I just always, it's one of those things, like, you don't think anything about it when you're signing it, because there's not even a slight chance that you're doing it, But at the same time, if you did, like, they pretty much own your being, because you've signed it away for that chance to be known.
So the exclusivity of those rights, though, I think goes away after a year, just like the hold period.
Yes.
It goes away after a year, but then they still have rights. They're just not exclusive rights. They're non-exclusive. So if somebody else wanted to make a movie out of your story, they could as well, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how all of this works.
The thing is, it's all revolving around this culture of instant gratification. You're wanting to see somebody on television and they're falling in love, and it's all happening instantaneously in front of your eyes, and they lack patience. And that patience.
Well, and then they think it's supposed to be like that on the movies, like the, out on the beach on the thing. Did I just ruin your segue?
You threw a.
You smoothly.
You're gonna
ruined it.
have
It was
to.
good.
You're gonna have to bleep me on this. You fucking wrecked my segue.
I'm wrecking everything
I
right
fell
now.
off of it.
I'm sorry.
Now I'm
You
rolling
didn't-
down the ground.
You didn't ask him with your eyes if he was done talking
I
yet.
put my hand in the middle of the table. I pointed to him. I pointed to me. I pointed to him.
No,
I pointed to me.
I
I
should
pointed
have
to
seen
him.
it.
And
I
then I
should have seen
pointed
the
to
sign.
me. And then I talked.
Oh,
should have
that's what
seen the
that
sign.
was.
Oh, my buddies.
I
But
should have seen
anyway,
it.
patience is what they lack. Beard culture has that.
We all of us at the table have a beard.
And why haven't we talked about our beards before?
I was waiting for you to bring it as a topic.
I was kind of like, you know what? I don't think we've went in depth on beards. their hair. Tiny?
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I feel like they waited on one of us because we are the most bearded boys, and I am a member of the Tennessee Beard and Mustache Club. So, I mean, that's a thing.
What do you do with the club? Or is it something you just kind of sign up for and there's
You sign up for it, they give you a card, and then you take a picture of your beard and send it, and they actually go around to different beard competitions. And so when you compete, you kind of get to go, hey, I'm a member of this, and they're like, cool.
That's just like the beard struggle. I am a brand Viking for beard struggle. So, but basically all that means is just like I get to test out their products for a cheaper price, and I get to promote them and give people discounts if I want to. But it's actually really good product. It took me forever to get through it. But anyway, I wanted to get into the history of beard culture because it is real.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And I got to thinking about it because you go through this phase in history to where you look back and everybody is just slick. Everybody's clean shaven. And
I hate the term clean shaven. My beard is clean.
by clean, I mean
actually,
the beard
it
is
has fecal matter in
clean
it.
off your face.
I mean, I understand, but it implies that a beard
Okay.
is dirty to use the term clean shaven.
Very well, but there's a reason behind that as well.
Okay.
Clean shaven was actually a terminology used by the razor companies. That fresh, clean shave, now available to you in your home. That's why there are periods throughout time and it's actually all revolving around the razor companies, and it's kind of a crazy conspiracy because it's due to a lack of masculinity is why it always arises that the beard culture comes back. And then when it's gotten at its peak, the razor companies say, don't you miss whenever you had a face? Here's something that'll take it all off in 3 strokes and you won't have to shave for a month again. Like now with 14 blades.
Those razor companies are the same reason that like women shave their legs and armpits and shave really at all, because they needed to sell razors. Like, and it created an entire, like, that's a big like foundation of our current culture for women, is they have to do this in order for people not to find them to be disgusting. And it was all a marketing strategy that took over.
Yep.
Then why are razors so expensive?
Because you need them.
For
You're
that
made
exact
to believe,
reason,
Yeah.
because of everything they just said.
You're
Exactly.
made to believe that you need them. And workplaces will enforce it due to cleanliness and this and that. And it just makes no sense because I'm a clean boy. My beard's a clean boy. It's the way it always is. It makes no sense to me. The clean shaven part, though, that's if it wasn't the whole conspiracy of the razor companies, it wouldn't make sense to me either. You know,
Lizard folk.
Is
But-
there any truth to that saying? I've always heard that people like with a beard are like just subconsciously more distrustworthy or something.
incorrect.
Really?
Well, I've actually read a study that says in times of crisis, people look to bearded people for guidance and leadership.
And that is
Or more
bred.
likely to,
that is
yeah.
bred into us because in all heroic,
By aliens?
stories that we are, especially in most of Western culture, especially revolving around stories in the Bible, there's a lot of beard folk in there, and they're always figureheads of these specific stories.
When have you ever seen Zeus like without a beard?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
well, besides in Hercules, right? He didn't have a beard in Hercules. No, he did.
Yes, he
I
did.
just remember seeing someone Photoshop it out, and it looks so weird, like him just having a chin.
Did Liam Neeson have one in The Wrath of the Titans? I don't remember if he did or didn't, but I think he did. Yes, he did. Never mind. It was a prosthetic, but it was still a beard.
Liam Neeson has 2 roles. That is Qui-Gon Jinn and Taken. That's all that I know, because every other movie he's either Taken Man or just a Star Wars.
Well, his brother, who was Hades, was the actor that played freaking Voldemort.
That's what?
You didn't know that?
Hold on. The person who plays Voldemort,
Yes.
he's
Rest
the
in peace.
brother?
Yeah, he was Hades in that movie.
Hold
Oh,
on.
I'm thinking Snape.
Oh,
sorry.
wait, you're talking about a different movie. Sorry. Go.
Anyway, though, during times to where masculinity is at a lacking part, and I'm not saying this in a way to say, there's not such a thing as toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
But just the idea of not enough, how to get more, a beard is the solution. And it's always kind of been that way. Whenever we had the War of 1812, and this is for real. I'm not talking about.
You're not
I'm
talking
not talking
about-
about the. No, not the football.
Peyton Manning and
No,
Tom Brady?
Not Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I'm talking about the actual war. After that, and this was a dual golden era, oddly enough, for facial hair growth and for beard culture to happen. It was in the 1850s. This was times after those wars took place, both a war that happened in the 1830s and 40s in England and that war that happened in America in 1812. People felt that, they weren't going to be protected because there was a little time of peace. And they felt if something else like that would happen, then they didn't feel protected. Something was up. It's like their guys got too comfortable. They got too
Times of crisis.
and in times of crisis, you turn to someone with a beard. And that's what brought the beard culture back in the 1850s, was to look more like somebody who is a pioneer, is somebody who's
someone capable.
Yes, a capable person.
Yeah.
And
Rugged.
Someone you don't want to mess with.
And then the straight razor comes out, available to purchase and take to your home, and people started shaving again. Scoots on up again for clean shaven being the way to go, and that was in the let me look it up. It's in the late to 1800s.
So the
no,
straight
1920.
the
That was
straight-
it. Yeah.
The straight razors were only in barbershops
Yes.
before they made an actual consumer
Yes, and
product
it was a sign of sophistication to be able to shave at your own house and not have to go to the barbershop because you owned your own razor. And they would pass those razors down as family heirlooms because they meant so much, because it was a sign of sophistication and a sign of almost like
It's like a sword.
like an affordable nobility.
like an ancestral sword.
Yeah. And all it
give
was
this
made
to
for was
you.
taking the hair
It
off
is,
of your
but
face.
for your face.
But that style maintained pretty much really heavily until the early 1900s because the disposable razor with the cartridge came out in 1920. My note says, in 1920, disposable razors slick up the face again. But yeah, it's and that was the way it was again for another 40 years until people started rebelling against the idea that you had to be, quotations, clean shaven to be represented in a proper human way. My face grows hair. I want to show the hair that my face grows. This hipsters started in the 1960s. And hipster beards are the original beards that we know today that we all wear. They're all variations on the hipster beards. Why so? Because the reason we have a beard isn't because, a majority of the time that, we desire it. It's going to have to happen. I need it, I need it, I need it. It's because it grows and we let it happen. Mm-hmm. That was the original hipster beard, was to grow, let it happen. This is what my face looks like, and I'm still unique.
Well, my beard serves several purposes. It's utilitarian.
It catches cheese dip before it hits your shirt.
It does do that.
Every
Saved many
time.
shirts.
It holds a pen, and it also sometimes functions as a.
But the most modern iteration of the beard culture that we know, aside from it going back and forth between generations of new types of razors, new campaigns, and new people making regulations to where you have to stay a certain way, honestly, shaving is kind of a form of control. It is a control mechanism to say, you need to do this, you must do this.
Or is it a loss of control because you've been manipulated into using them in the first place?
I don't know. I don't know many things that would revolve around like work contracts that would have a purpose behind, like, you can't have a beard.
Well, UPS actually just recently made it okay for their drivers to have beards. Like, they weren't allowed to have beards until this past year.
Yeah. I mean,
And that's a wild, I don't understand that. I would get it maybe.
I just think it's different. I just think times change. I mean, there's a lot to that. A lot goes into it, like everything you've been saying. But then sometimes it's just like, where it's like, we don't have to do it that way. That rule was made up by some person that's not even around anymore.
It was a lizard person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
do we
Illuminati.
really need to keep this one?
In 2007, we were introduced to a resurgence in the most modern iteration of beard culture. referred to as the lumbersexual.
I never heard it called that before.
Yes.
That's good.
Or mountain sexual. Some people have called him that as well. It's
I
basically...
don't know. That means a lot different here in the South. In the South, that means something totally different than beard culture.
That's one way to take that.
But I can't. Oh, I got myself off topic. I got a little gaggy.
Ugh.
But anyway, that embedded its seed of thought into our brains, and it got us into the point to where we're growing up. In 2007, we were all pretty much still, young adolescent age, teenage years. So still influencing the way that we look at stuff. You've got this style trend that comes out, the lumbersexual, where you're wearing your flannel and your boots, and you've got your jeans, and you've got that big rugged beard.
But you've never cut down a tree in your entire life.
Not a one time.
I have. I've cut down a tree.
Have
but
you
I
really?
never wore flannel.
What was that like?
It was not as fun as it sounds because I did it by hand just to prove to myself that I could.
Right. How big in circumference are we talking?
About yay big.
That means nothing in the audio medium. That yay big.
Okay, about the size of a small watermelon. We say this is about a foot in diameter.
We'll go with that. Yeah.
Yay big.
Yeah. The way you said it first, your head.
If you've met me and you know my head size, about the size of my head.
Your head is the size of just a standard watermelon.
Well, okay.
You got a big brain in there.
I know. Big wrinkle brain.
Now that I think about it, I think I saw my cousin run headfirst into a tree about your circumference of head, and it hurt her pretty bad. so I think you should probably, that's a good sized tree. Good job. High five.
Yeah.
I just thought of a funny, if a knight's name were Cumference.
God.
Gosh. And
he would be Sir Cumference.
And then you'd never have to look for him because he's always around.
There you go, guys. Nope.
So the beard styles do kind of vary from what is fashionable from year to year, what people are wearing most commonly, at least. There are already beard fashions and trends even this early on into 2021. And those styles include the business beard, which is a full beard that is kept in a neat, closer to the skin level to where it's still a dark shadow, not quite scruff, but just a little bit longer, but more stylized. You've got the Viking stylized again, to where you're going to have your sides to be tapered along and gone into a more pointed and or rounded shape towards the end, as long as it is elongated in the front. And the third way that is making a resurgence this year that is very exciting, because I did it last year, was the beard stash. The stubble underneath, done to just a shadow, and then a stylized handlebar mustache or longer styled mustache. The most recent that I saw that wore that style was Henry Cavill, and I felt just pride and joy in myself that I claimed it. I called it. I did not look as good as he did. Mustache was incredible.
I don't know. You were handsome.
Mustache was really
good. But Henry Cavill.
Dear
goodness.
And I've only said this about I've only said this about Ryan Gosling, but hot damn.
And Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, you said that.
Yeah, he deserves one too.
And Chris Evans.
I
don't know. There's just a lot of good-looking guys out there.
Yeah.
For sure.
And in here.
Yeah.
Because of all of our beards.
And we are beard and we are nerd, and both come intertwined on Nerd It Through the Grapevine.
I want to paint a picture real quick.
I have oils and acrylics in my room in the closet, and I've also got a canvas back here.
Okay, this is more of a word picture.
Oh.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, full beard.
That'd be scary.
That would be amazing.
That'd be too much.
I'd love it.
That'd be too much.
Like,
be so
forget
good.
Jason Momoa, slap a beard on The Rock.
He made it. He made it in. Welcome back.
He did. Dwayne, thanks for being you and doing what you do. Detour, your thoughts?
My thoughts are mentioning the rock, right? Our planet itself made of much rock, much water.
Yeah.
Our planet made of rock, made of water, made of grass, made of
Dirt.
Which is dirt. Dirt is rock,
Animals.
but small.
So Earth.
Earth.
Earth. Yeah.
Captain Planet. Segue achieved. I want to talk about Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, he's a hero.
Gonna take the bad guy down to zero.
Marcus, what were you singing?
Gonna take the bad guy down to zero.
That's not the song.
Gonna take
That's the
pollution
song.
down
The
to
most
zero.
the most popular thing about the show was that part of it.
Pull it up.
Captain Planet, he's our hero.
I did 4 pages of research.
You didn't listen right
Captain
enough.
Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero.
I was right for once.
I've never seen the audio spike up to purple before. I didn't know that was an option.
Rip headphone users. Sorry, but I got real excited.
Don't be sorry.
Oh man, I'm glad the captain has got this much excitement going on with it. So Captain Planet, the basic part of it was these 5 rings come together to form this this blue-skinned, buff, green mullet superhero.
Stop it. I've never realized he had a mullet till you said that.
He does. It's a spiky green mullet. He's a blue crystal dude with a spiky green mullet.
Did he drive a Trans Am?
I wish. No.
Was he? What's his story?
fully electric.
No, the emissions wouldn't pass on the Trans Am.
Is there lore to this? Because I'm excited.
There's
I wanna know
there's
as
much more. So we all remember the Planeteers, which I'll get into them in a minute, and of course Captain Planet himself. But Gaia was actually someone that I completely forgot about the show because I was so young watching it. But anyway, let's go back even before that because I'm not to the first page of my notes. Captain Planet. The first series was actually called Captain Planet and the Planeteers. It aired on TBS from 1990 to 1992. And then in 1993, they came out with The New Adventures of Captain Planet, and that ran until 96. So the show altogether, 6 years from 90 to 96. It was considered an edutainment program, which is very hard to say, but they were educating you and entertaining you, like Schoolhouse Rock, a lot of things on PBS.
Yeah, like the Magic School Bus.
Magic School Bus, bingo. That is edutainment. This one was about environmentalism, which seems like a very early time to be such a big issue because now that's one of the biggest issues that we have. But even early in the 90s, they were already coming out with television shows to try to be like, hey, let's stop killing this place. At the end of every episode, there was always a Planeteer alert. So it was like real life environmental and social issues that were going on in the real world and educating children about it because they probably weren't learning about it in elementary school. And yeah, the most memorable thing was the end theme, and it was Captain Planet. He's our hero, gonna take pollution down to zero.
Bad guy.
Pollution is the bad guy, so you're in the right area.
Oh, I know I'm right.
If there was a version
Thank
of
you.
it like
See,
that.
I am right, Tony. Dane confirmed it. He's the
Gonna
host.
help him
No.
move the sun
No,
up
no.
from the bad guys who try to move the sun down.
The show is all about being a part of this solution instead of pollution. There's some nice rhyming going on there. The original series was the second longest running U.S. cartoon in the 90s. They had 113 episodes from 1990 to actually just the original series. So from 90 to 92, they had 113 episodes. Is that right? I wrote it down.
Yeah, and
Wow, that's a lot of episodes.
I was babysat so much by the television as a young child that the Captain Planet, like all the music, everything as far as like the rhymes and everything they had in that is stuck into my head, and I still don't throw anything out the window of my car.
Yeah. See? I'll get very angry if you do.
He'll find me.
I will find
like he'll
him.
show up just running down the highway at 75 miles an hour just to look at me, and then he's gone again.
So, getting back to the characters in it, Gaia, she was the spirit of the planet, and she's the one who created the 5 rings and sent them out to all the Planeteers. She was voiced by Whoopi Goldberg in the original, and then Margot Kidder. Margot?
Yeah, Margot.
Right, Margot Kidder.
Yeah.
Lois Lane from the original Superman movies. Those were the voices of Gaia, which are extremely popular actresses. So Gaia was asleep throughout the whole 20th century, and then she woke up to find that humans are killing the planet pretty hard now. So she needed to do something about it. So she appears as a woman, a beautiful woman of all different races, like as the show goes on. She doesn't have just one form. And that was actually something that the show did really well too, was including so many different races from people from all over the world. The Planeteers were Kwame. That was voiced by LeVar Burton.
Kwame?
Yeah.
You mean hot?
No, that's Earth.
I know.
No, you don't.
I do.
You know now.
Yeah.
So Kwame, LeVar Burton was Reading Rainbow, right?
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
was so shocked, because I thought that was the name of the kid that did the heart.
No, we'll get to him later.
I remember the Earth guy now.
So yeah, Kwame is Earth. Wheeler is Fire, and Linka was she was voiced by Kath Susie. That's going to be the voice of Lola Bunny from the new Space Jam movie. Just a little tie-in from a episode ago. That was Wind, and then G was Water, and then Mati. That was voiced by Scott Menville, who is Robin on Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. And that was the leader, and Mati was Hart. And he was I never realized as a kid that he was the leader of the group, because he always seemed kind of the weaker of them because he was smaller. But he was the leader because without Hart, none of it matters. That was a message for that. Yeah.
Great.
And then, of course, Captain Planet, when the 5 rings were combined of all those elements in Heart, they formed Captain Planet. Something really neat was all the villains in the show, which is not something I really remember at all. Like,
had
none
such
of them.
great names.
Great names. And I'm going to go through a few of them.
Oh, kick it.
So they were called the Eco-Villains. And I'll just go through this list right
Do
here.
they all live in a
They're great.
community?
Yeah, probably. Hoggish Greedley. Real good. He was like a piggish guy.
Always wore Hawaiian shirts.
One of my favorites, Verminous Scum, was voiced by Jeff Goldblum at one point.
Amazing.
A character called Duke Nukem. Like, there's the video game called Duke Nukem that came out a little bit after that.
Yeah.
And they were going to have to change the way they spelled it from Nukem to Nukum. But then they realized that the Duke Nukem from Captain Planet, it wasn't copyrighted, so they just went with their own, but with the same spelling of it. Dr. Barbara Blight was voiced by Meg Ryan at one point.
Cool.
Mal the Ozone Slayer is a great name. He was like a digital villain, and that was voiced by Tim Curry at one point. Luton Plunder, Argus Bleak, Sly Sludge, which was voiced by Martin Sheen, Ooze, Tank Flusher, and Captain Pollution. Like those, like
I remember
Captain
Pollution.
Planet's Black Adam.
yes, but they actually had rings. The eco-villains had rings that formed Captain Pollution the same way that the Planeteers formed Captain Planet, but their rings used the powers of laser, deforestation, smog, toxic, and hate.
Laser?
Laser was like a weird,
That's a
like
stretch.
yeah, but I think at the time they were like, lasers are super dangerous, and it's like, nah, we got them all over the place. We play with cats. And all of that was all in the 90s, and it's in syndication, so it's played on a few different networks. Like, no, the TBS doesn't have just the rights to it anymore. And the most recent thing that came out, which actually wasn't that recent, it was I think it's maybe early 2000s.
Are you talking about Don Cheadle?
I'm talking about Don Cheadle in Funny or Die.
Oh,
Funny or
Lord,
Die
have
is like
mercy. That's gold. That's some of the best internet that's ever been made.
Yes. So Funny or Die is like a skit comedy channel on YouTube. And Don Cheadle, amazing actor, he played Captain Planet in a few skits on there. There was like 4 parts to it. And in the first episode of it, they're only like maybe 3 or 4 minutes long. So if you get the chance, go to YouTube and watch these. They're amazing. These lumberjacks are cutting down a bunch of trees, deforestation and everything. So the Planeteers are gathered together, and they call upon him, and he shows up, and he starts turning every single one of the lumberjacks into trees. And then he goes from there, and he kind of moves his attention towards this big city that's on the other side of this forest, and he starts turning like dogs into trees, and this baby turns into a bush inside this stroller, and all of a sudden the music starts getting more eerie, and he just starts turning every person he can find into trees because he's like, they are the problem. And so he's like spiraling into madness, and through the different parts, he just gets crazier and crazier, and he becomes a massive villain. So that's a neat spin on the character. You have?
I've seen parts of it, yeah.
No, it's great. And it's Don Cheadle, so you can't go wrong with the guy. But Captain Planet was a big part of my childhood as far as cartoons go. And I think it subconsciously taught me a lot of environmentalism, because as a kid, I don't actively realize that I'm learning all these things. It's just the basis of the whole show is take care of the planet. And one of Captain Planet's like signature phrases was, the power is yours. So he was the hero of the show, but he, like, you as the viewer, it's your power that you can actually stop all this pollution and killing the planet. Like, the power is yours, it's not his.
And they took that step up from Power Rangers, because that around that whole time, like, these teams with powers, and they represent different abilities and everything else like that was all tying in together, and they made you kind of more into it than Power Rangers would, because their songs like really got you into the mindset, because they stick with you. We're the Planeteers, you can be one too, because saving our planet is the thing to do. Looting and polluting is not the way. Here's what Captain Planet has to say: the power is yours.
Boom! Right off the top of his noggin. That's fantastic. So one of my favorite superheroes of all time, Captain Planet. And they've tried multiple times to come up with a live action film for it, but it's just never happened. And once Don Cheadle did his thing, I think it was like, all right, well, nothing we make, like, we can't make anything serious now, because everybody's just going to want something like this, and that can't happen.
Why not? Why can't it happen?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I want it to.
Actually, didn't M. Night Shyamalan try to do that?
Why? M. Night Shyamalan trying to do it.
The Happening? You remember that?
Gosh, where the planet came back. So instead of
where the plants were like killing
instead
people?
of Gaia like granting like 5 people power to change the world and try to make an influence better, he just here, plants, kill people with your sniffs.
Something like that.
I'm not sure. I'm just a genius. Just an absolute brilliant genius.
Genius.
Speaking of geniuses, now
Genii.
Captain Planet was an amazing work of art. And there's another form of art, performance art. We've kind of spoke about it a little bit here and there. The definition of performance art is an art form that combines visual art with dramatic performance. Okay.
Did you say dramatic or traumatic?
Dramatic.
Okay.
But now, a performance artist that I have recently learned about, and recently as in the last couple of weeks, let me find the tab. Things are getting weird.
Are you scrolling through all your open tabs right now?
Yes,
Don't do
and
that.
I just went, why have I looked up some of these horrible, crazy things?
Honestly, guys, okay, I know that you can't see it out there in the audience, but Tiny wears glasses, and I can see that the man was telling the truth when he was trying to get rid of these windows to find what he was looking for.
Truth. So this individual, he lives in Florida, so you already know what's good. He is a Florida man. I mean, that's not what he's called, but I'll get there in a minute.
Dang it.
Now, we don't really know who this man is, but the lore, if you will, is that he's a 65-year-old retiree and divorced veteran who moved to Naples, Florida from Rhode Island sometimes around 2009. And he wasn't satisfied being a boring retiree, so he bought a very distinctive clown mask, and I'm talking about the one and only Wrinkles the Clown. Now, if you don't know who Wrinkles the Clown is,
I don't.
Parents hire him to come scare their misbehaving children.
Not perform parties to bring them joy?
No.
Not
at all.
To terrify them
To
into
terrify
submission.
them. The video that went viral is he was in this child's room, and there was like a big drawer underneath the bed, and it was like a CCTV style, like nanny cam.
No.
Yeah, I mean the parents hired him to come scare this child.
Are they in jail?
So, no.
What did the kid do to deserve it?
I
Is there
don't
a
know.
backstory?
There was no backstory.
I hope he stole something.
But you watch and you see the drawer slide out, and then he sits up and he like puts his hand on the kid's arm, and then it like fades to black. But a Kickstarter was started several years ago to make a documentary about him.
You can't leave this yet. Hold on.
He feels
Parents,
bad for the kid.
Parents hired a clown man.
Yes.
An old clown man.
In theory, old. Nobody actually knows who he is. I'm circling back, Dane. I'm circling back.
I just can't
promise.
get over, like, if I was a child and a clown came out of...
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
my parents were behind it.
Yeah,
Who
like-
do I trust?
Yeah, honestly.
He does it several different ways. He doesn't always hide under the bed. Sometimes he might just like show up in the backyard and look through the door.
This is bad, too.
Yeah, I mean, also I will say this topic was inspired by Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, who loves clowns. So if you know him, send him all the clown paraphernalia that you have.
I'm just going to let everybody know right now. And this doesn't have to be a secret. I am not a fan of clowns.
Okay, well, in the documentary, he actually hires an actor to play him, and they never reveal the identity of that person. He alludes to being actually younger than what he's claiming. So it's not actually him in the documentary. It's this crazy thing. But what he did initially was he'd go around and pass out stickers with his phone number on it. And so people call him, leave a message, and he calls them back. And speaking of that, we are going to call him right... We are going to call him.
I don't like this, though.
Marcus,
I
lock the
don't
door.
feel good.
Lock the door. Don't let Austin out.
Oh, I'm down. I'm with
I don't
this.
even really have much of a fear of clowns. No, I don't like grown people with face painted and weird clothing, but
I got to find the tab where the number is.
I have like this genuine fear right now to where my fingers feel kind of cold.
Oh, by the way, this is what he looks like.
Also, dear Tiny,
I told you.
that's terrifying.
I know.
Did you see?
This is awesome.
Austin's in the corner. You may have to sleep in the living. I think we're gonna have to sleep in the living room together tonight.
Okay, we ready?
No.
Calling now.
Oh, you've reached Wrinkles the Clown. I'm not here to take your call. Leave me a message, I'll call you back.
Hello, this is Austin's Tiny Zent from the podcast Nerd It Through the Grapevine. We would like to actually conduct an interview with you or possibly hire you to come to scare my friend Austin. It would be fantastic. My number is 9. So you can call me back at any time. Have a nice day.
I just want to let you know that I'm so upset right now that I tried to turn off your recorder channel like that would stop anything on your cellular phone. I didn't have logical thought at that point in my time.
This is the most afraid I think I've ever been.
I gave him my actual phone number. Can we beat my phone number? 'Cause that would be great.
No, because now all the clowns are going to be calling you. Send in the clowns, Tiny.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not afraid of clowns, but
But that's not just a clown. That's a demon man. That's a demon man that demon parents hire to scare their stupid kids.
I'm just going to let you. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know right now. I'm going to let you know right now that if a clown man shows up anywhere in this house,
He will not make it out of the house alive.
I should have gave him
He won't.
Austin's number
No.
instead of mine.
no, because I wouldn't answer it. I don't answer numbers I don't know. And if a clown man shows up in my house and startles me in any way, it is self-defense because he is in my house in a clown costume and he's not walking out of here.
So much.
Actually, it's predetermined now because you already just said your intention.
Yep. And
Nope.
I was a
also,
part of it.
I probably do not have the money to get him to come up from Florida to the state in which we live to actually do that.
Well, I've not been a bad boy deserving that kind of punishment.
I don't know, we
So
could-
he wouldn't agree to the task anyway.
So are you saying that he's noble for an evil clown?
We could probably just get him here with some pizza and beer or anything.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean,
He'd probably just take beer, you know.
I don't know. Tell him Austin's
we
a
could work
naughty.
something out.
Tell him Austin's a naughty 9-year-old, and he'll show up in a heartbeat. I'm sure.
I'm not a naughty 9-year-old. I'm a grown man. I'm 32. Please don't lie to this guy.
but you are naughty. You broke wind towards my face the other day.
And you told me you were going to pay me back, but I didn't know it would be this bad.
I always go for the win.
What kind of sadistic human being lives a life to a point and then says, I want to be a horror figure?
He did say in the documentary, which I've seen bits and pieces, that it's actually a complex performance art piece that's not yet reached its conclusion.
Oh, no.
I don't know what all that means.
Oh, no.
But
Tiny.
there's some
How do you
plan
not
he's
see
working.
what that...
That means there's going to be a finale.
What's the
to this
finale
piece.
got to consist of?
I don't know.
It's going
maybe
to-
appearing in your shower.
Oh,
That will
would
be the finale.
That would be the finale because
Absolutely.
that's also the end.
Of wait, you or him?
I honestly, I do have really high blood pressure, so it could go both ways.
My body's cold. Like I'm feeling my fingers and they're cold now.
Are you afraid of clowns too?
Now I am. He just created a fear for me.
I mean, I think the laugh was the best part.
Dear,
It's
you can
not.
still hear it.
We're gonna have so many beeps in the course of this episode.
No, it's not a good thing what you've done. Like I can't sit still.
You
My
cannot
legs,
unhear it.
my legs won't stop bouncing back and forth between each other, and I try to hold them. I hold them still. They won't hold still. Tiny, what have you done?
Marcus, what's your opinion? Because obviously we know theirs.
I mean, I'm down to interview the dude for sure.
absolutely.
Well, I don't know. We probably have to know a little bit more about him.
I don't
know.
want him in this state.
Well, I mean, what about just his voice?
No. I don't. I want to forget this person exists like 5 minutes from now. No.
It is now Nerd It Through the Grapevine canon.
Yeah. What if I told you I was Wrinkles?
Then I'd probably fall in love with you.
Okay, I mean, I'm not.
It's like a Stockholm fear syndrome thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I understand.
I would just. I don't know. Okay, now I'm not afraid anymore. Now I'm kind of. Well, what's this? Now I'm all warm. I went from real cold to real warm. Tiny, what'd you do?
I don't know. Is that arousal I'm smelling?
Maybe.
Possibly.
That's why they call them pheromones.
I still don't like clowns. I still don't enjoy clowns.
I'm just trying to
let's
change
call
the
them
subject
again.
because I don't want to. No, don't do it. I don't want to listen to it again though, because I've heard it once and now I got to listen to it again later because I
He
like
edits
to.
it by himself.
And then a third time when you listen to the episode. Yep.
What have you done?
I told you about Wrinkles the Clown and then called him.
Well, you know what? Now when people now that I know it's an option, I think that I'm going to change my career path a little bit later on. I'm going to get my 401k set up.
What are you
and
doing
they
with
say,
your leg
and
right now?
I'm very anxious right now. So I'm just doing what I can over here. But I think that when I'm done with my days in the workforce, I will become a children's nightmare. That is. What do you want to do when you're done working? You're going to just lay back on the beach? No, hell no. I'm going to be a child's nightmare because they're bad kids, and I'm going to be a child's nightmare, and they're going to have nightmares because of me. That's what I'm going to do with my life.
You're going to be a Batman to where you just become what you fear, and that is Wrinkles the Clown. Oh wait, but there's already a Joker man.
Yeah.
Joker man from the Batman.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to use my fear against them. I'm going to use their fear against them and just dress up as it because that's what you can do these days, and people will pay you to do it. Here, scare my kid. He's afraid of sharks. Okay, I'm going to bite his leg off. Somebody.
I can't feel my face. Hold on, I'm seriously so lightheaded.
Hold on, hold it, boys.
Ooh, everything just kind of just like went wooka wooka. Wow.
I do need everyone to know that the fear that's been expressed in this segment is not a bit. It's real. It's actual fear.
And so is my pleasure. Like the room is still spinning.
Oh no.
You know, I've all those paranormal things and all the stuff that I've done in my life, but just people in clown get up and just it makes me want to vomit.
He was more like
I gotta go.
I need.
Like to the bathroom?
I need other people in the rooms with me
which
where I go.
Marcus did before he got here, which is why he was late.
We have a bidet, and you chose not to come here.
We've been trying to get you to use it.
What's the deal, Marcus?
Spray the stain away.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to us. This was just as fun as it was, 27 times before. You can listen to us on what you're listening to us now, or you can hop on over to a different one. If you're on Spotify, go on over to iTunes. If you're on iTunes, go on over to Podcatcher.
Castbox.
That's another one, too. All those are real. While you're at it, give Nightmare Town a listen. Give Haunter I Barely Know Her a listen. Give Anime Talk a listen. There's so many good ones that in Tennessee that are just fantastic. Go to our Twitter, @NerdGrapevine. Go to our... What's the picture one?
It's an Instagram.
It's an Instagram. Thanks. Go to that one. It's @NerdGrapevine as well. And, Tiny, when life gives you grapes...
Rub them on your body.
Where?
Everywhere.
Like, we're talking toe to tip?
Toe to tip.
You called a clown. You called him.